I'm Todd Bookspan, and welcome to your neighborhood real estate show. The hyper-local real estate show where real estate professionals talk about the neighborhood you live in or the neighborhood you want to live in. This episode is brought to you by homebuyeruniversity.net, your free comprehensive guide to buying or refinancing your home. Click over to homebuyeruniversity.net to get started online today. Hey everyone, I'm Todd Bookspan, and welcome to another episode of your neighborhood real estate show. And I'm very excited for you to meet my friend. I can call you my friend, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I hope so.
my friend Matt Chick from Impact Real Estate. And I think as we go through this next bit of time, you're going to realize why I'm so excited to have you here. So welcome.
Stoked, man. It's been fun.
Yeah, and so it's difficult for me as we get ready to go through and like really think through what all the differences. You do so much in real estate. There's just so much to talk about, but you've got an interesting past because a lot of the people that I talk to have the level of success that you have been in this business for 20 years, and you haven't been. So kind of give me your path to real estate.
Before real estate?
Yeah, sure.
Like the origin story. Well, I was born in 1980. No, I'm just kidding. So I was in the car business, man. I was car business like 6 years, I think. Probably I got into it probably about 32 years old, somewhere around there. And, I took off, man. Learned that if I could just provide value to others, I could make a lot of money. And I was all money focused, right? So the car business was phenomenal. Absolutely loved it. Ended up running 4 dealerships for a company called Easy Own Auto Source. Had 60 employees, about 25 salespeople at any given time. And I fell in love with the training process of teaching how to people to sell, close, articulate conversations, and just become a high-level individual so they can provide for themselves, right?
Yeah, love
Their
it.
goal as any coach is to help people provide for themselves.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah. What got me in real estate though is a little different. So because I was so enthralled with the car business, I worked a ton. And if you know anything about the car business, it's bell to bell.
Oh yeah.
It's 12, 14, 15 hours a day.
It's
6 days
a tough life,
week.
especially when you got a wife and kids.
Yeah, 100%. So I have 3 kids, 2 boys, 14, 13, and then a daughter that's 6. So what ended up happening, me and my wife we just weren't gelling. Like it was, I won't say it's combative, but there was some definitely animosity about how much I worked and how much load at home was on her. She was still working at the time. So like she's killing herself, taking care of the family and working a job. And then she got pregnant. Surprise, right? Surprise. Big age gap, right? 13 to 6, big age gap. So big surprise, and she literally came to me, and she hates that I share this story because she says she didn't say this. She says she didn't say this, but this is how I heard it.
This is your version.
Yeah.
I'll have her on next week, and she can give her version.
However she said it, this is how I internalized it, and it was I raised 2 kids without you already. If I have to do it a third time, I'm going to do it a third time. Like I'm literally going to do it on my own. And I was like, shit. Like that, it like hit me. Yeah. First, it hit me was like, she's right. My boys were like 5 or 6 at the time. And I had missed a ton. Yeah. I had missed a ton. She had taken care of it all, and I was working my ass off. I put more value on providing than being home with my boys. Yeah. Ton. And so that hit me. I'm like, okay, what else can I do? And always been enthralled with real estate. Started investing in real estate at 22. Lost a bunch of money on some houses, and it was the greatest experience I ever had.
Say, right?
Yeah,
best experience.
Yeah. So I lost I bought my first house at 19, sold it at 22, made $110,000. I put all that into real estate after I bought a truck, and I lost 100% of it in the real estate market. Yeah. Flipping homes. Yeah. That was the only money I've lost in flipping homes. So when she gave me an ultimatum, I was like, what am I going to do? So I started going, okay, I'd already dabbled with the real estate license. I already had the real estate license. So I was like, I'll just transition to real estate. I wasn't really thinking about investing. I was just trying to help people. Ended up connecting with a buddy that was like, hey, I think you'd be good at it. He was making a couple grand a year, a couple $100,000 a year. So I was like, if this guy can do it, I can do it. Like we're literally working out together, and we're gym friends, and I was kind of helping him learn how to sell, and he knew real estate at a very high level. Like he's probably one of the best agents I've ever met in my life. Super knowledgeable dude. So I called him up one day and I'm like, dude, I'm going to quit my job. You think I can do this? He goes, yeah, dude, I do. So he was kind of the driving force that got me into real estate. I was scared. I was nervous. First year, he took me under my wing and he gave me some deals to help me keep afloat. And then I just started going, man, and fell in love with it. Fell in love with what we can do, the amount of income we can drive, the flexibility of our schedule once we're up and running. Yeah. Right? Because there's no flexibility. I truly don't believe there's any flexibility in our schedule until we can get the income to where we're allowed to have flexibility.
Absolutely, right? Then leverage comes in.
100%. Like agents I get into business for two reasons, freedom and money, but they want the freedom right away and they want the money right away. And I go, first, you got to go build the money so you can have the freedom.
That's it, right?
So that's kind of like how I got into it, man. But I've always been a fan of people, sales, anything that I can do. I love the earning, like even in the car business, I was making 120, 150 grand a year, but I was capped. Like there was no way that I was ever going to make more. I was making $9 grand a month plus bonuses, $9 grand a month plus bonuses, and it was that for 3 years.
Right, there's only so many cars you can sell.
Yeah, there's only so much we can do. Regardless, if we went to 150 to 200 units a month, I was going to make 150 plus bonuses. Yeah, I mean, $9 grand plus bonuses. So when I got into this and I saw that there was no cap, that's when things just started going. Ended up doing 40 units my first year.
That's awesome.
25 retail, 15 wholesale. Wholesale kind of came out of necessity. Jed was the guy that brought me into the industry, and he kind of taught me. He was with We Buy Ugly Houses franchise at the time, and he kind of taught me what he was doing, and I fell in love with wholesale real estate because it's like the thing that I hate about retail is 30 to 45 day escrow once you're under contract.
Yeah,
long time wait for your money. For a car guy, long time wait for your money, right? So the wholesale real estate, 10 days, you get paid, 10 days, you get paid fast, go in, close the deal, and you get paid. So that's why I just fell in love with it.
So wholesale real estate, for someone who's listening doesn't know, that means you're buying it straight from the consumer who needs to sell and sell fast for cash, and then you're turning around selling to someone else who's going to try to do the fix and flip.
Yeah, it's going to actually buy it. So it's just what I call wholesale is just the assignment of contract.
Yeah, middleman for a
one-page doc. It's a one-page doc that everybody calls themselves wholesaler. It's really just an assignment of a contract.
Well, and you know, the funny part is, I shouldn't say the funny part, I mean, the part I love about you is the fact that you have a heart of gold, right? Yeah. That you said, hey, I cared about people, right? When I was selling cars, I cared about my team. And I've seen that when I see you up teaching, because oftentimes when people have the expertise that you have, they're like super scarce minded. Yeah. I'm going to hold it in. And I see you in front of a room saying, hey, this is it, right? Like, the first person I've seen who has, hey, let's get together and let's network. Let's just share our secrets out in the community.
You have to. I mean, that's how you build an organization bigger than you could ever dream, right? Yeah. Like, I think Gary Vee says, give 80% of it away for free, and then they pay for the other 20%. Give, and then you give them the hook, right? So for me, it was just like, how can I pour value into people, and eventually that value will come back to me in a monetary form. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. Like, we don't win all the time with having that philosophy. Some people will come and take everything you got, you never do anything with them. But that's just part of it, right? Yeah. So you got to have that spirit of, I just want everybody to win. And the team came, so the first year I was solo, just Jed was teaching me. My team started second year. We ended up partnering with a team, and then we called that Valorum Real Estate. Yeah. We ran that for about a year and a half.
And now you're Impact Real Estate.
Now we're Impact Real Estate.
Right, because that's where I was first introduced to the idea of you as a team leader, and then I got to know you and realized that there was just a whole heck of a lot more. So you have a retail team. You guys, by retail, I mean you buy and sell houses, help people buy houses, help people sell houses. Yeah. And so you've got people on there to really full service to do that part. And then you guys recently moved over to EXP Real Estate. So kind of walk me through, like, what's the team look like, and then what's why EXP?
So the team is what I call it's two verticals, right? Mm-hmm. So it's our retail vertical where we help people buy, sell, and invest as clients. That's our retail vertical. Then we have our investment vertical. Our investment vertical is made up of multiple ways of monetize, right? So we got our buy and hold play. We have our fix and flips. We have wholesale. We could do some sub-2 stuff. Not very good at it. So every time I say sub-2, everybody reaches out like, hey, what do you know about that? I got contracts and I think I can figure it out. But we haven't done a ton of it. I'll do some seller carry flips, JV flips with agents. So and that's that vertical. What I naturally found is, as we got into the business, most agents only think one-dimensional. So when I go, okay, I want to build a team, but I want it to be a multi-dimensional team. I want every agent on my team to understand there's more ways than one to monetize something across the kitchen table with the seller.
Yeah, and solve their problem.
Correct. Because that's at the end of the day. So people, if it's not a listing, some agents go, I can't help you. I didn't want to ever leave an appointment saying I can't help you. Yeah. I wanted to give them the options that they needed, so that I was the guy. I knew everything that I needed to know so they could transact. B, I could solve 100% of the problem. So when I left, they knew it was handled. Right. That's big. And that's what it came from, man. And I wanted every agent to understand how to do that and do it well, so we could solve more problems. Makeup of our team right now, it's actually smaller than it's ever been. We got 21 agents. I got
still pretty darn big.
Yeah. We were sitting like 30, 35 month in, month out. So we're 21 agents. Last year production, we had about 242 transactions for 75 million. This year, it's changed the game in the last 60 days. It is. So I think we're probably going to hit 200. I think we'll probably be 40, 50. I'm going to say 200. We're probably 190 for probably.
Yeah, but with less agents, that's still super respectful.
It's not bad. Yeah. We have a group of top 20%, man. I got some agents that are part-time, and we have a philosophy where we don't necessarily like tell them what they have to do. We give them a framework of what it looks like to be successful. Yeah. If they choose to do that, that's fine. But we got some part-time agents on our things. We got some stay-at-home moms on our things where this is just something that they need. So they have the knowledge, and we have our full-time people, and then we have the people that only play in the investment space and the only retail space. So we're like a hodgepodge of what they do, right? But we have a couple of programs they can choose. They can choose to be on their own and kind of do their thing, and we're there for them when they need us. Or we have what's called Impact Elite, and that is where we run their schedule. This is what you do every day, and obviously those agents always do better.
Well, yeah, I mean that's always it. It's the whole idea. You kind of already said it. People getting because they want to have own their time. And I'm like, well, but when you worked at Starbucks, you had to actually be there at a certain time. You had to start working. Like you got to get up and get out of bed earlier and get going.
And so Impact is actually there's 3 partners. So it's me, it's Jeremy Fust, and then Kyle Reardon. Kyle's kind of our silent partner. He's our CFO. Does a ton of stuff in the investment space. Really runs Guaranteed Home Buyers quite a bit. Jeremy's the forefront of our team with his mother Mickey, which is our sales manager. She's phenomenal. Yeah. If it wasn't, honestly, it's Mickey's team.
Yeah.
So Mickey. She has done so much for us. I'm very transactional. I'm very hard hitting, so she makes me a lot softer. Her and her son, both Jeremy and Mickey, they're a good yin and yang to how direct and driven that I can be. That they can rein me back and say, okay, let's look at this from a whole. So the partnerships was amazing, and it came out of so Jeremy was getting ready to leave me. He was going to go try to do it on his own, and I knew me and my other partner, in my mind, I knew that I think I was done. When he said he was thinking about it, I go, let's talk. Because my goal isn't, I love the investment space. Jeremy loves the retail space. So it just works so well for us to just run in our lanes and do extremely well.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to that whole idea. I love the fact that you want to sit with someone at the table and have your team be able to help them regardless of whatever the challenge is. And I think
that's where the Foursquare came from. Yeah. That's where out of necessity we were on an appointment, had to figure out how could we help them. And I literally started rambling on how the different ways to sell real estate, and they ended up picking one. And I'm like, okay, we got something.
Well, that's it. I was thinking if you give people the best choices and help them, here's the pros and cons of each one, then they can make an adult decision that they can live with. And, so be it if you guys turn around and make money on the deal, but you save them time, headache, and money on the other options.
Yeah, so I've always talked about there's 2 ways to sell, right? There's tactical based selling where you're using ninja tricks or word phrases or, matching body language. And I think some of that's great, right? I really do. But for me, I believe in information based selling. So what I want to do is give the client so much information that they can make a decision. Yeah. And then I'm willing to ask hard questions to get them to make a decision. Right? You've already got all the information. What does it look like to move forward? I never want information to be the reason why we're not transacting today.
Yeah. Well, I think that's huge because the challenge is people think they have the information they got from Mr. Google. And that's probably not the accurate information.
Well, and there's so many different sources. You go to some of the big iBuyers, they got their information. You go to some of the big teams, they got their information. You go to Google and you look for cash offer on your house, you got 900 million pieces of information, all different companies, right? So there's just so much information out there. So I was like, man, if we could just show them all of that, they're going to be like, okay, at least I can do business. Yeah. And then it's all about reputation and who you know in the business and lead with value and give away as much as you possibly can. And it just works out. I had an agent, I have a deal right now that's a listing, ended up wanting a cash offer. The seller went around me to go get a cash offer, even though I Foursquared him and I showed him that I could buy his house cash. Well, the cash offer he got is amazing. I couldn't touch it. There's no way I could buy it for what they want. And it's a well-known agent in the Valley, been in the space forever, saw it was my listing. He reached out and just called me. He goes, hey, man, I saw this listing. I'd be willing this is what I wanted to offer. I had an appointment set with him. I had no clue it was your listing. And that's just reputation. Yeah. That's just, hey, I know him. He knows me. There's nothing.
That's how business should be, though. I mean, people shouldn't be like, oh, I'm going to sneak in there when that's not looking.
And you know what I didn't do? Is I didn't go to the seller and go, hey, I can do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
I said, listen, man, he went to you, he talked to you. I'm fine. Like the seller's going to pay me a little. The other guy's going to pay me a little bit. Am I going to make the $18,000 in commission I was going to make before? No. But I got my seller's extremely happy because we're moving forward, and the buyer's extremely happy, and I have a real relationship with the guy, right? And he's going to go make a lot of money on it, right? And that's great, and I don't have to get in the way of that. I think the scarcity mindset of like, hey, this is my listing, I should make all the money. I'm not even getting my 3%. I'm like, man, I don't know. I don't care, dude. I care more about these relationships. Yeah. And I'm going to walk away with probably 12, 13 grand on it. So it's not like nothing. Yeah. But like at the same time, it's like, I'm not fighting for the 20. I'm leaving 7, 8 grand on the table when I could try to fight for all of it. I can hold them to my ER, but then I'd be screwing my buddy over here that's buying the house. Or I'd screwing the seller over here to getting out of the situation he's in.
Life's too short. Keep the karma good.
Yeah. So I think you just have to be so well networked in the space.
Yeah. Well, and so I love the fact that you allow people to be part-time, you allow people to be full-time, and I think that's a little bit of feeds into the EXP. You guys made a change and went over there, and that's, it seems like a great opportunity for people to come and learn alongside of you.
Dude, EXP was Kevin and Fred, you know them.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Dude, they've been hounding me for years. Like, probably 4.5 years when I was over at Rev before Rev made the switch. And they've been just on me and on me and on me. And they were just, talk about giving value, man. Those guys would only give, like, I need something, I call them, they'd send me a number. Need something, call them. Like, they're the ones that connected me to Tim Walker that helped me build the investment space that I have now. They're the ones that connected me to Steve Valentine, and that's how I raised capital. I ripped off and duplicated what Steve does. We had a 15-minute meeting, and he told me how I would do it. And I'm like, and then like just so many of those connections. Andrew Franklin out in Texas, how he's doing 2,100 transactions. Dustin Roonan, out in Lake Havasu, I'm getting ready to do coaching with. Just so many great. So as I was looking at EXP, I'm like, we had a couple of different people that we could go under. And like, I didn't hate KW. Like, I really, really like KW. Like KW, if EXP didn't exist, I'd be at KW. Like Jesse Hurtful has been amazing. The people over there were amazing. I absolutely loved it. It's just KW couldn't do what I needed it to do in the lane that I wanted it to do, right? The difference between profit share and rev share, there is no difference, right? I mean, there's a huge, huge difference. You can't even compare it. So there's a huge difference there. And then the no boundaries, man. Like we have a goal to be in 10 different states, and each market center wants a full cap, right? Yeah. So now we can have agents in any city. And as long as we can provide value to those agents in those cities, there's no boundaries. It's all under one team. So the growth plan is huge.
All right, that'll be our next show. We'll talk about the growth plan. I can't have like 10 cities. I can't about this.
So it's like just the big vision. It matched up exactly what it needed to be. And the person, we're only there 90 days. And it's been good. There's been some hiccups with like onboarding and stuff, and like TC learning it out, and being 100% virtual. And we're above board on all of our investment stuff, so all of it runs through the brokerage. It did it at KW. It's doing it at EXP. So we're one of the few teams that are allowed to wholesale at EXP, and that was super important to me. So we went through transactions as I was looking at doing it. They finally signed off on it, but there's hiccups. Man. They're like, "Hey, Matt, we don't like the way you're doing this. We don't like," and we're working through it. Yeah. But it's been a great partnership so far.
I love that. I love it. So let's kind of dig in on the whole wholesale investing side. And so, talk about that to the person who's listening to this, who's either a realtor who doesn't understand that they should be connected to you because they're a real estate agent because you can help them. Yeah. And then also talk about it from the person who's thinking about selling their home and is scared of the big I buyers or just scared in general of selling their home for cash.
Yeah. So I truly believe in the market that we're in, we're going into a skill-based market. If you're an agent and you're listening, we're going into a skill-based market. You have to be somewhere that you can get that skill set, or you have to be plugging into something that's giving you that skill set. I'm not saying that you need a team, but you need a lender that's going to help you figure out your life, right? How to run your business, how should you do it the right way, right? And then if it's not someone that's close to you, or you're not paying for coaching somewhere, then I would go plug into a team like mine, or there's a ton of other teams out there that have a training program that gets you into production. But what I'm telling agents right now, like we used to say, double down on the activity, man. I think you got to triple down, quadruple down. If you're only working 5 hours a day as an agent right now, I think you're making a huge mistake. You really got to be in the trenches. You got to know what's going on. You got to be looking at the data a little bit. I don't even look at the data a ton, but I look at it enough to go, okay, this is where we're at. This is what we're doing. And then drive activity through the roof. Like, I really feel like, wherever you're at, whatever you do to lead gen, we talk about 5 lead gen levers, but like whatever you do for lead gen, you better be doing that. So you still have to get your nurtures every day.
Yeah.
You still have to get your nurtures every day. So if it takes you 50 contacts to get your nurtures that you need every day, you need 50 contacts. And it's not, I'm going to go home, I'm done. It's back to that same mentality when I first got in the business. I left the house at 7. I got in the office by 8, and I didn't go home till 6. Regardless of what I was doing, I didn't go home till 6. Right? If I was on 2 appointments, I'd come back to the office. I didn't go back home. And that's because you have to have that consistency in your schedule to actually get anything going.
That's like my love language. Like activities leads to results. And I think that most people just don't have that minimum standard. They don't actually know what do they need to do today if they're going to hit their goal at the end of the year.
But everything in life.
Yeah.
Like I'm fat because I'm not consistent in eating right and working out correctly. Right? I work out every day.
That's how it works?
Yeah. I work out every day, but you can't outwork a bad diet. I'm 365 pounds because I'm not consistent about putting the right food in my body.
And I see all that meal prep pictures.
I know.
You and family.
I know.
I'm like, oh, he's crushing it.
Yeah. And so I've dropped, this is a crazy part. You want to hear something crazy? I'm going to talk about being fat real quick. The crazy part about being fat. So I think I'm down 20 pounds.
Awesome.
On a typical person, 20 pounds, you see.
Yeah.
Like you will not see it till I'm 70 down.
All right.
It sucks. I'm hurt.
But you're doing with your kids though, right?
Oh man,
so it makes it
my
fun.
boys are on.
It's good accountability partners, right?
Yeah. My older son's like, "Hey, are we prepping tonight?" I'm like, "Shit." I wasn't going to, but I guess I am now.
I know. And then you post it like 80 eggs.
Yeah.
77 pounds of ice. I'm like, holy.
It's so much food.
You look at it, you don't think it's that much food.
It's so much food.
Yeah.
Because we're doing 7 ounces of meat to get like 45 grams of protein. Yeah. It's so much food. But my older son's a monster.
But it's discipline, right? I mean, you're teaching them this is, that discipline goes to every part of life, and it goes back to sales, right? I mean, that's
everything in life.
Yeah,
everything in life. I don't care what you're trying to accomplish, what you're trying to do. If you find a way to be consistent in it. The other thing, man, you know me, I always go deep. But if you can start to learn how to love the process of doing it rather than the result, like that's the biggest thing. Like, because if you get the paycheck, it's great. But if you can learn to love the process of the lead gen, the door knocking, the phone calls, the open houses, showing the buyers, being on appointments, if you can learn how to love that, your life is just better.
Well, but I think the people who do love it are the people who care about the people on the other side, who genuinely care. They don't say, "Oh, I care about you, Matt. Right. Oh, I got my paycheck." They actually genuinely care, and they also get a paycheck, right? So I think that's.
You know what? After my first year, I really started to generate some money in this business. And what was cool to me is like when I stopped. Like there's times I'd have 5-6 checks at the front of the office. And I'm like, man, I'm not having to go pick up a check every time it lands.
That's a good feeling.
It is a good feeling, right? Because you're like, okay, I'm running my life the right way. My finances are good.
Yeah.
I'm still living on a salary that I pay myself. And everything else going back into the business. Yeah. Business has enough money in the account where I don't have to go pick up a check right away. And I was like, okay, this is good. But then a market shift's happening. You're like, oh, let's go find the money.
Yeah.
All right, what was the second part of that question?
Second part of the question. So one was around the agent side, and the other part's around the consumer side. So consumer might be listening to this, they might be like, "Holy smoke, this guy's pretty intriguing." But I tend to find that there's just a lot of confusion in that space. So if I have someone who calls me and says, "Oh, Todd, I know you know all this stuff, and I was thinking about selling to X or Y or Z," they're all confused, and so you guys deal directly with consumers all the time.
You really, I think, if you're a consumer listening, you got to step back and say, "What is my goal of liquidating my asset? Like, what is my goal of liquidating my house? Like, is it?" All the money? Is it time? Is it to get to the next step? Is it to, I have a divorce situation. He's running from his wife, right? Ex-wife, because she lost it, right? So for him, it doesn't make sense to sit on the market, right? So our typical time frame, you would list a house, you'd have it sold in 5-6 hours if it was a nice house, right? Over ask, you'd be done in 30 days. Some lenders are getting stuff done in 21 days, right? So but if you can't do that and you go back to a traditional market where it's taking you 90 days, 120 days, 180 days to sell a house.
Right, we're in a different market today. We're not in that 3-hour sell your house market.
Yeah. So and you have to decide if you want all the money, always go on the MLS. Yeah. I don't believe there's another way to do it. Go on the MLS, pay an agent to sell your house, and you will net the most amount.
Right.
100%.
And you have agents do that.
100%. Yeah. If you need anything, you call me. But if you go, okay, I don't need all the money. I'm in a good equity position. What I need is speed of execution. I need as much money as I can get. And I want a very easy transaction. Don't want people in my house. Don't really want to show it. Don't want pictures. And you have all these other things. Then you got to leave some money on the table because there's people out there that would do that. But you got to decide, is it worth leaving 50, 60, 80, 100 grand on the table, to have that. I'll give you a scenario where we bought from an agent. Agent called me and said, "Hey, we need a cash offer on this house." I call the agent. I go, "The house is great. You need to sell it on MLS." And she goes, "We've been listed for a week." And I go,
A week.
I go.
They're all sad about a week now. It's crazy.
I know. I go, "You're priced right. If you really want to sell it, drop it $30,000, and then it'll sell. I think it'll sell in the next 3-4 weeks, and she'll have all of her money." And she goes, I've told her this, Matt. I've told her all of it. I'm absolutely disgusted that we're doing this, but she wants your offer. And it was between me and one of Tim's guys, right? So we're both competing with this house. And I said, I told her 4 or 5 times, I don't want to buy this house. But if I have to buy it, I got to be at a low enough number if the market, wherever the market's going, I'm speculating. So I ended up, on a 525, I wrote a 400. Doesn't need anything. She accepted my offer. So, it was more important for her to sell right now and be out. She owed nothing on the house. It was more important for her to be out, peace of mind that she didn't chase the market down. And it was more important, right? And if that's what's important to you and you're willing to leave a little bit of money on the table, you're willing to leave it.
Yeah,
right?
You're willing to take the risk then.
Yeah, and then I'm willing to take the risk because now I've built enough profit in there. If the market does adjust by 25%, we're still going to make 25, 30.
Yeah.
Right? And then that's a good business decision for me. So what I tell consumers is you just got to look at all your options. And what are those options? You can go retail with an agent. You can go iBuyer still. There's still some iBuyers out there. Their offers have changed.
Their offers are not good.
Yeah, their offers have changed drastically. You go to a fix and flipper like myself. There is still a few funds out there buying. You're going to probably need to be connected to an agent that has access to those funds.
Which those agents too.
For sure. Yeah, or and there's a ton of people out there wholesaling, that you end up, get connected to a wholesaler. They're just going to sell it to a guy like me anyways. And then you have some creative finance deals where if you wanted to JV a flip or if you wanted maybe just some rental arbitrage, I'll take it as a rental for the next 2 years and I'll write a long-term lease agreement with you and then I'll turn around and rent it. But everything besides retail is going to cost you money because it's a business for someone else to generate capital.
Yeah.
Right. Those other 3 options are all about someone else generating capital that they own a business. And you got to be okay with that. And if you're okay with that, then you just got to make the best decision that works for you. And I truly believe that only them can make the decision. And that's where my agents have a hard time with me because they're all trying to pivot them into a cash offer. Yeah. I'm like, guys, stop. You got to be unattached to the outcome.
Right.
I don't care what they pick. You got to be unattached to the outcome because now we're really doing our job as professionals and as licensed agents, right? The last thing you want to do is hard close someone to take an offer where they're leaving $60,000 on the table because it benefits us more. Yeah. That's not the game. The game is to give them all their options and help them fact find and make the decision. What are the pros and cons of each? And then when you're done with all of that, they feel comfortable making a decision. And I truly believe that you help them.
You did. Absolutely.
So what I would tell a consumer is you really have to know what you're trying to accomplish.
Right. So the bottom line is make sure that when you're calling up that person, whether then iBuyer is certainly not going to give you all your options. And your real estate agent that you used last time, I hate to say it, may not be able to give you all the options. So
you have to be connected to the right people. Yeah. They gotta know what's going on in the market. They gotta be an investor friendly. And I'm not the only team. I don't want to act like I am. I would love to do more business with people, but there's a ton of people out there doing it. And so you can get connected to anybody. I would just start asking people if you're thinking about selling, what does that look like? If you want to sell for cash, what does that look like? And just make sure they're real because there's a lot of people out there playing games.
That's the scary part. Yeah. Right. It's with someone else's money and someone else's emotions. Yeah. In their future.
There's a ton of people canceling contracts right now. They'll lock it up for 10 days, try to wholesale it. They can't. They don't do it. They're not putting up hard earnest money. So we have a ton of sellers that are just getting left high and dry.
So someone says, "Hey, I'll buy your house for $300,000," and then they're trying to find someone else who buy for $305,000 and they can't. They're like, "Sorry," and that person lost 10 days.
10-day inspection period, and they're out. Right. But what they do is they shrink the time. They shrink the time frame on those contracts. Right. So it might be a 10 or 15-day escrow. So if they could be physically moving out at that time if they didn't negotiate a close possession. So then they cancel day 9 or day 10, and you got a house backed up.
Yeah, but they're already rented somewhere else, have a deposit on it.
So you got to be careful. You got to make sure they're real.
Man, that sucks.
It does suck. Yeah, but some people don't. So there's a lot of players out there that guarantee to close, and I would just make sure you use those people that guarantee to close.
I like that. Yeah, I like that. All right. So what else? Anything else in the investment space I should be asking you that I didn't ask?
No, I think that if you're an agent, you got to be in it.
All right.
If you're an agent, you have to be in the investment space. Jeremy says this all the time. I'm going to steal it right now. But as an agent, you're working for tips. Your commissions are just tips. How good of a job did I do? Right. And that's how I get paid.
It is interesting. I mean, I do believe that, you got to be investing yourself. I mean, there's just no doubt about it.
Just revenue, man. If you were to just look at, so if I was to share our revenue, like our top line revenue in the investment space, we're on pace to do 2.2 this year. We won't hit that. Congrats. Thank you. I appreciate it. And, so we'll probably still be 1.5, depending. Awesome. So depending on how these 20 deals we have on the board go, we'll see. But then our retail team, we'll maybe hit top line revenue of 700, 750. And that costs $300,000 a year run. We're probably $28,000, $30,000 a month in expenses to run that.
Yeah.
In the investment space, we're probably $15,000 just in lead flow. So it's not a cheap business, but the investment space will always pay more than the retail side. And I'm not saying you have to be only an investor. What I'm saying is you got to look for the opportunities that you come across on a daily basis as an agent.
Yeah.
And if you see an opportunity, you need to either partner with someone that you're willing to do the opportunity with, or you got to have the guts and just go do it. If you've never flipped a house before, I'm not saying go flip it. Find someone that can help you. But if you're looking at buying holds and you got 20% down on something, I'm still not scared to buy a hold.
Yeah.
If cash flow looks good, buy a hold.
Absolutely.
And you're big in the investment space.
I mean, that's
so you exactly know.
I mean, that's always what I've done, and I've always been envious of all of you. But the people that you all mentioned are all people that I've actually been their flip partner early on when 100%. They were getting going, and they didn't need my money anymore, and then now they're going.
Why did I get left out?
But I'm so happy that I was part of that journey, because at that time it was great for me. It was a good opportunity, and I would do it again.
Have you made more money investing in real estate or doing loans? Is that too personal?
It's not. It's funny. I haven't ever really thought about it. Probably doing loans, right? I mean, 20-year career, top 25 in the country. I've done a lot of loans. So, from that perspective, I've done that. But I've done great in real estate. Real estate's what's brought me out of that hole. I mean, that's really it.
I will share a mistake that we've done.
All right.
Haven't held enough.
You made a mistake?
Yeah. Tons.
You made a mistake?
Tons of. We haven't held enough.
Yeah.
We probably have 10 this last 24 months that we should have held. All positive cash flow, probably somewhere between $500 and $1,000. They should have helped me.
I think it's a hard one. I think, I always hear people say, well, the only house I regret selling is every house I've ever sold. And I don't know that that's true either, but it's, I look at it and, peel back the onion. I had to teach a group of financial advisors once a month. And I've always, in my mind, I'm a nerd. I can tell you how much I spent on every QuickBooks, for 20 years. So I'm I looked one day, I joked with someone, really, what? What'd you spend on fuel in your car? And I looked at it, it's thousands of dollars, a lot of money on fuel in my car in 20 years. But I've always joked that I was probably worth negative $500,000, but I looked at it as negative $968,000 was my negative net worth, because I owned 5 houses that were underwater, about $100,000 each, and probably more than that. So maybe it was over $1 million, but I'm going to go on just under $1 million. But those same 5 houses, right? I had tenants in that were paying. They were cash flowing, and today I still own them. Now they've paid down my mortgage a lot, and now they've gone up a ton in value. So I have made a lot of money by buying and holding real estate. But there's opportunities out there for everyone.
I say I messed up because I really like the deals looking back. Hindsight's 2020. But we needed the money.
You reinvested.
Yeah, every one of those we made 80 to 90 to 95.
Yeah.
So we needed the money.
It was a great fueled what you got. Fueled what you got going now. So we talked about sellers.
Yeah.
I know. Again, I think I feel like when I ask you about buyers for a second, how they approach the market, I almost feel like I'm underutilizing you because you're just so the other spots. But I feel like I'd be making a mistake if I didn't just say, gosh, well, so you talk about this market being scary. What about someone who has to buy a house right now?
I think
been transferred in, or
I'm rejuvenated about buyers. To be honest with you, the interest rates don't necessarily scare me. They suck depending on what price point you're at. Let's be honest. Anytime when you have an interest rate rise and what it's done, doubled in 60 to 90 days, is it fun? No. But I'm not necessarily scared. What I think you have to do is don't. I call it upgrade your client. When you're in the car business, you either downgrade them a model, upgrade them a model. You always want to get them upgrade them a model.
Okay, what's your payment?
Yeah, exactly. You got it. What's your payment? What do you need it to be?
I hate that.
Let's go. What do you need it to be? So I think you really have to look at what your client really wants to afford, and then you got to be brutally honest with what they can afford.
Yeah.
Right. I don't believe in being house poor. I've never been house poor, and I just don't believe that's what you should do. I don't believe you should spend all the money if you
I've been house poor. It's not good. It's no not fun, right? It's not fun.
So I literally just left an $800 payment probably 2 years ago. I lived in an $800 payment since 2000.
Yeah.
It was my payment's $2,700 right now, and I hate it. Yeah, but we can afford it, thank God.
Yeah.
So and $2,700 isn't even that bad, So it's still a good payment.
See some of the stuff.
I know. So I don't even know where I was going. Sidetrack. So what I would tell buyers and buyers agents is this is where you got to have a lot more fun with writing your contracts. Like when I first got into it, 2017, man, I was getting personal property. I was getting seller concessions. Like I went in market, headhunted on what I could get. I would literally, part of my script was, is there anything in this house that you like? And I prided myself on getting the couch or getting the kitchen table. I would always ask, man. I remember my best one ever. I did a 1.1 out in like Greenfield area, Greenfield and Pecos. It was a 1.1 and a newly divorced guy didn't want to have to buy furniture. So I got the whole house furniture. Nice. Everything stayed. It was like 90 grand with the furniture.
Wow.
I tried to get the boat in the garage. They wouldn't do that. But this is one thing that I lost. I'll remember this forever. They had one of those really nice white horse heads on the wall. It was like super nice. And he wanted it, and they would not give it up. They gave me everything else in the house. Probably 90 grand with the furniture. They wouldn't give me the horse head.
Here's my only advice to people listening. Don't give your furniture. We sold our last house. They got a bunch of furniture. And in my mind, because I'm really cheap, I was like, dang, you mean that bed cost $3,000? I got to go buy another one. Well, they paid over asking price, and they threw that. That was like the caveat. But I'm like, man, I would have counter offered $25,000 higher for the furniture.
I mean, I got the audio, video, I got the TVs.
Yeah. I mean, unless you're moving in, the furniture doesn't fit or something.
Yeah, I think I don't know their situation.
Oh yeah, this lady got our TVs and everything. Yeah, surround sound.
All that stuff. See, you did it too. It was nicer you didn't have to move it though, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, hindsight.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's good.
But,
that's good.
But still paying for it now.
Yeah. So I would just say make sure you're having fun out there and really protect your buyers. I would absolutely be asking for seller concessions, but I would be asking for probably at least 2-3% seller concessions, and I would try to be buying down rates with it.
That's the advice we're giving.
I would still not. If you have your money for closing costs, don't put it there. I would absolutely be buying down rate with it, and just whatever you can do. Rates. I don't know if rates will ever go down again. I'll let you speculate all that, but I know that where the rates are currently at now, you can still afford to buy. Yeah. If you can afford to buy, I don't believe there's ever a bad time to buy. Like, let's say the market shifts at 40%. I bought 2 years ago. I bought at a height of a market, right? And let's say it goes down 40%, and my house right now is probably worth $950. Let's say it's only worth $600. I can afford $2,700 a month, and eventually, I don't know when. Nobody can speculate. But eventually, it'll be worth $950. Maybe it'll be worth $1,100, and I have an amazing place to live, and I love to do that. So I just say, like, have a goal in mind. Like, if you're looking to buy something and turn it in 2 years and make 40%, that's not what we're at. But if you're looking to buy something, call it a home and live there for the next 5-6 years, maybe even 3 years. I don't want to speculate in the market because I suck at it, because I don't know what it's going to do. But whatever it does, time. I tell people this. I go, real estate is good all the time, 100% of the time, in time.
Yep, that's it. Go back to my houses 10 years ago, negative 500,000. Now plus $1 million plus. Right?
And it's Jesse taught me that, and I loved it because I tell all my buyers that. I go, it depends on what you're looking to do. If someone's looking to buy in a year and make a ton of money on it, I don't know if I'd take them as a client, or I would set expectations that's just not realistic right now. But if they're looking for a house, I would go, you can challenge it if you think different.
Well, I just think 40. I don't think it's going down 40%.
Yeah, you know I use that as
okay, just making sure. I'm like, you don't scare me.
No, I'm not trying to scare you. I'm not trying to scare you. No, I don't either. And maybe I shouldn't have said 40. I was trying to be very drastic with it.
That's good.
To show.
People still have that, they still, in the rearview mirror was the financial crisis.
If we were to talk like what I'm looking at in the market, the last 3-4 weeks, the listings have kind of stabilized right under 20,000. We're like 19.5, 19.2, 19.7. So it's playing right there. And I'm looking at this for myself. We have 21 projects currently going. I have 4 that I could absolutely potentially be losers for us. I bought them in April, May, June. Yeah. Right?
You just said I don't have a lot of losing deals.
Yeah. I could have 150 grand worth of losses on those 4. I'm probably not going to, because I've had talked to all my investors. We'll pivot all of them to rentals or sober livings or something to where they either break even or I'm losing $500 a month on them, and I'll wait the market out. So I'm not scared about that. We've already talked about rates, and we've already had that conversation. So I don't think I'm going to lose that. But if I liquidated them, I'd probably lose money. But what I did is I adjusted how I was buying, right? So let's say I lose 150. A business, there's wins and losses in a business. So I would have bought 6 more to make up for that loss.
There you go.
So my income, my growth, my top line revenue is going to be the exact same of what it should have been, right? I just had to find a different way to do the deal. I had to buy deeper. So I got 6 that are already pre-sold to a fund that is continuing to buy. Like, I already have purchase contracts on them. All I have to do is rehab them. So like those 6 are going to generate $250,000 in revenue for us. Yeah. So I know I have that revenue coming in 30, 60, 90.
All right. Well, I hope you don't have to offset it by the negative 150.
So do I. We'll keep working on that.
Well, so one of the things you just said was having fun. You got to be having fun right now. So I think that if I'm a consumer and I talk to an agent who is scared then that's probably not who I want to work with. And if I'm an agent who is not having fun, then I want to connect with you guys to have fun with your team, because that's it. I know I've been there. I've seen the teaching you do. I've seen the fun you guys have, and I think that there's a good mix of working hard and having a good time.
Right, work hard, play hard. Like that's our philosophy, and I think if you have an agent that's head in the sand and saying everything's still great, I think you got to question that too. You want an agent that will shoot you straight.
Yeah.
Like, just where are we at? Just so you can make the decision. Right. That's the agent you want. Not someone that's doom and gloom. Not someone that's, this is amazing, you'll still make 20% on your house.
Tell them what they want to hear.
Yeah, like just someone that will shoot you straight, man. Yeah. When I walk properties, and you guys should, whoever's listening, a buyer agent should use this. I go, listen, I'm probably gonna walk a property totally different than we're gonna know. You're gonna know if you're gonna like the layout. You're gonna know if you're gonna like the finishes. My only job is to make sure that I point out anything that's gonna cost you money in the next 12 to 18 months. Yeah. So I'm gonna be looking at AC units. I'm gonna look at water heaters. I'm gonna look at appliances, and I'm gonna point anything out that doesn't look right. So I want you to know I'm not trying to be negative at all with the house. You tell me if you like the house. Yeah. You tell me if you like the house. I'm going to tell you what you should be looking at, right? And if you know that you're buying this and you got to put an AC on it in the next 6 to 10 years, I'm okay with that. Then you should buy the house.
But you're also walking through it from that lens of the investor too, right? Because those are things that if you bought it for cash, you'd have to fix. So you're saving a lot of money.
Man, I just feel like our job as agents is to give as much knowledge as humanly possible so people can make decisions.
I wrote that down. It's a skill-based market.
Everybody that's out there shopping that has a pre-qual, 90% of them got to want to buy. Like they're already closed. They're already done. You've already done the hard work. They're pre-qual. They're ready to go. You just have to handle their emotions, take them through the process, find the right property, and protect them through the whole thing. And you're an amazing agent. Yeah. Because I don't think a lot of them do that.
Well, I just love your leadership. All right. So what else? What didn't I ask you that you thought we were going to talk about?
Oh, I don't know. I think we could cover it all.
All right.
I had a lot of fun, actually.
I hope so. I hope so. I mean, I know you like to ask the deep questions.
I do, man.
You were like, I didn't go past. I didn't go back before you were into the car dealership. Yeah. I just kept right there. I ran with that, but I just know that.
You can find all the dirt.
Again, it sounds really corny, but I just know you're a great human. So I'm just glad that you got to share that part, and hope that people listening reach out to you and get to know you, whether they're an agent that's looking for a new home or some advice, or someone help them learn to invest, or an investor who just heard you say, "Gosh, I'll make $250,000 on those houses," and they want to learn how to invest. So you'll help them, and then someone's
with a coaching program.
You should totally do that. But and then someone who's thinking about buying or selling a home, you got a great team that'll help them and really give them the honest stuff. So best ways to get you, I got is teamimpactaz.com.
That's our website.
That's the retail one.
Yeah, that's Team Impact. That's more agent focused. Okay. Impact REAZ would be more client focused.
All right.
Then I am Matt Chick on Instagram.
I like that.
Yeah, and Matt Chick on Facebook.
I'm gonna get I am not Matt Chick on Instagram.
She get I am top.
All right, we'll make sure we got everyone posts this. We'll put all those addresses. We'll get people there, make sure that they're there. And I'm just super grateful that you spent this time. That was a lot of fun.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate you, brother.
All right. This episode is brought to you by homebuyeruniversity.net, your free comprehensive guide to buying or refinancing your home. Click over to homebuyeruniversity.net to get started online today.